So a few days ago, I put up a poll asking what holds more importance when looking at a track athlete's career, either an Olympic medal or a world record. Most people picked an Olympic medal, about 67%, so by a really good amount, while 33% picked a world record. The comments, though, they were actually pretty balanced for both sides. Some people were saying that the chances of actually winning an Olympic medal are so small and, you hold that title forever. Or records, they can be taken away, but medals, they will always be yours. On the flip side, some were saying that world records means that you are the best of all time, when a medal just means you were one of the best for that year, or that most track enthusiasts, they can tell you who broke a world record throughout time, but not too many can remember the medalists. Well, these were some very, very interesting comments, so I decided to follow up with another poll after that. This time, I asked which 100-meter athlete would you pick based on their career, either Donovan Bailey, Justin Gatlin, Tyson Gay, or Asafa Powell. This time, Asafa Powell overwhelmingly took the poll with 47%, ahead of Justin's 28%, Tyson Gay's 16%, and then Donovan Bailey at the bottom with 9%. To me, this was pretty eye-opening, right? But somewhat expected based on how most track fans kind of assess athletes and their legacies. I also acknowledge there's so many Jamaican fans on YouTube, so there's always going to be kind of an overrepresentation here. But let's quickly discuss why I personally don't think this is really, really accurate. First up, on the Olympic medal versus the world record part. I'm pretty open to the argument, but personally, I kind of struggle to place a world record ahead of an Olympic medal in pretty much any case, right? If you wanted to argue a world record over a bronze, maybe a silver, I can maybe entertain it. I can get with that. But over a gold medal, I don't know. I just can't see it. So yes, there are a few positive things about a world record, right? Such as being the person to run the fastest in history or jump the highest or farthest or whatever it is, right? Throw the farthest in history. And of course, surpassing a mark that in theory, everyone has been working to achieve. But there are some significant flaws to owning a world record that limit its, kind of strong staying power. World records don't last forever. At the end of the day, they don't. No matter how challenging your world record is, one day someone will come around and actually break it. Keeping things in the 100-meter dash, just for the context, right? Asafa Powell broke the world record 4 times between 2005 and 2007. But then Usain Bolt came along in 2008 and 9 and took the record down 3 times with 9.58 still standing to this day. And even to this day, Asafa's 9.74 world record is only the 9th fastest time ever. Even Asafa himself, he surpassed that time in 2008 after Bolt had already broken the record, 2 times that year. But a bit further on this point is, if we look back to the 1990s, between 1991 and 1996, the 100-meter world record was broken 4 times by 3 guys. Leroy Burrell ran 9.90 in 1991 and held the record for a grand total of 2 months before Carl Lewis took it down to 9.86, beating Burrell at the 1991 World Championships. Then, a little less than 3 years later, Burrell took the record back, running 9.85 seconds in 1994, but then just 2 years later, Donovan Bailey came around and dropped a 9.84 to set the record at the Atlanta Olympic Games. Again, look at how many times it changed hands, showing how a world record simply won't last forever. And the last thing on this point, Jim Hines. Jim Hines was the first man to break the 10-second barrier with 9.95 seconds all the way back in 1968 at those Olympics. The record for some time seemed to be almost unattainable. It stood for 14 years, until one day, Calvin Smith came around in 1983 and ran 9.93 seconds. Even to this day, I bet the majority of you don't even know who Jim Hines is or his record was, despite how historical and long it lasted. Even Usain Bolt's 9.58 just surpassed the 14-year mark last year. So again, world records, they simply won't last forever. And that's to say nothing about other events, right? Like, think of the women's marathon, which has been getting broken every few years at this point, or even the women's 10K, where, I think a year or two ago, we saw the record literally broken twice in, a day or two by 2 different women. Listen, the other point is that world records can be broken at any point throughout the entire season, essentially meaning there's more opportunities to achieve that accomplishment compared to an Olympic medal, right? Which I'll talk about in a second. Let's go back to the 1990s with Leroy Burrell, where he broke his world record on 2 occasions at various different meets throughout the year, once in New York City and the other time in Lausanne. Asafa Powell, he broke all 4 of his records at one-off meets, in Athens, Gateshead, Zurich, as well as Rieti. And the latter of which, that Rieti race, that was in a heat. That wasn't even in the final. Notably, that 9.74 in Rieti came literally 2 weeks after finishing third at the World Championships in Osaka. Asafa Powell got the bronze medal at the World Championships. So the record is not diminished in any capacity, but there's a bit of kind of disappointment not having it done at the World Championships when that gold medal was won in, I think, 9.85 seconds by Tyson Gay. Now, a similar situation occurs in other events. Like, we see Mondo Duplantis break the pole vault world record week after week at this point, right? Throughout the entire year. On the flip side, an Olympic medal literally lasts forever. Say what you want about being every 4 years, but no one can take that Olympic medal away from you. To this day, athletes who won Olympic medals years and decades ago are consistently going out showcasing their medal and earning money doing speaking tours and conferences, all kinds of things. A chance to win an Olympic medal only comes around every 4 years. You literally cannot win an Olympic medal at any other point in time except that one single day. And even if you want to say that an Olympic medal only lasts for 4 years until another set of medalists comes around, even then, you at a minimum are called the Olympic gold, silver, or bronze medalist for at least 4 years. Let me highlight this point even more. Over the last 34 years since 1990, do you know how long on average the men's 100-meter world record lasted for? Only 2.5 years, essentially 2 years and 6 months. And that's heavily skewed by Usain Bolt with his 15-year-old, world record at 9.58. Take out Bolt, and that average drops to 1.4 years, or 1 year and about 4 months. So that means that before Usain Bolt, if you broke a world record in the 100-meter dash, it would most likely get broken, 2 to 3 times before the next Olympics even comes around, and a new 100-meter Olympic champion would be crowned. That's kind of crazy. 2 to 3 times before the next, listen. Additionally, at the Olympic Games, most if all of the best people in the world are lined up. So it's a true representation of going up against the best and taking down the absolute best in the world. Many times when a world record is set, especially in a one-off race, you may get some of the best, right? 1 or 2 guys, but it's not going to be that full major competition final. Let's put it like this. Like it or not, guys like Marcel Jacobs and Noah Lyles, they will forever remain Olympic gold medalists, even if their winning times weren't the fastest in history at the Olympic Games. But they will always be known as an Olympic champion and can show off their gold medals throughout the rest of history. But on the flip side, Leroy Burrell, Asafa Powell, 2 guys who I've personally spoken to both of them, and I admire, especially Asafa Powell, right? Considering what he's done, I've grew up watching Asafa Powell, one of my favorites of all time. They can't call themselves world record holders to this day. Former world record holders, but they're not world record holders. And one last example, just for reference on the women's side. It's starting to become commonplace to consider Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce the greatest 100-meter runner in history. In my opinion, she is the 100-meter GOAT. And that's with never touching the world record of 10.49 seconds, a record that still stands to this day. She's never even run 10.5 seconds, right? Personal best of 10.60. Many even argue that Elaine Thompson-Herah is the greatest in history, considering what she's been able to do, especially at the Olympic Games, her 10.54. And again, she's never broken a world record in either the 100 or the 200. But why is that? Because they both have dominated in the medals department. Both are double Olympic gold medalists in the 100-meter dash. And sure, they also have the fast times like I noted before, but because they backed up those times with a plethora of gold medals at the Olympics, and then of course Shelly-Ann at the World Championships, they have drove themselves into really the overall conversation as arguably the greatest of all time. Yes, Flojo's record still remains on the books, but one day it's going to be broken and it won't be on the books. And a new woman will reign as the world record holder. Yes, we'll look back at Flojo and say, but the world record will be broken. So to circle back, world records, they make you the fastest person in history, but only for that point in time. They can be broken at any point, which again, will take away that title one day in history. And again, they can be set at any point throughout the entire track season. Olympic medals, on the other hand, they can only be run and won every 4 years, and they stay with you absolutely forever. That athlete who wins that gold medal, that silver, that bronze medal, they will always hold on to the title of Olympic medalist for the rest of their lives. And just to bring it around to the men's 100-meter dash poll that I put up, I think this is where the nuance does come into play. But I think undoubtedly, if you were to rank these 4 guys, in my opinion, just my personal opinion, it should really clearly be Justin Gatlin, Donovan Bailey, and then Tyson Gay and Asafa Powell. They can interchange maybe Tyson and Asafa for 3rd and 4th, but why? Well, look at their careers. Justin is by far the most successful and accomplished of that group. 3 Olympic medals, gold, silver, and bronze, 2 world gold medals, and 3 world silver medals. And though his personal best is 9.74, right, which is only number 5 all time, his accolades can never be taken away. That 9.74 may drop down the list, but the medals, they're going to stay with him forever. Donovan Bailey, who most people may not even know or remember. Shout out to Donovan Bailey. He did a lot of content leading up to the Olympic Games. He's my number 2 because he did everything that Tyson and Asafa did, but even more. Won Olympic gold in 1996, world gold in 1995, world silver in 1997. Add to that, he broke the world record running 9.84 at the 1996 Olympic Games. Like I noted earlier, he took down Leroy Burrell's mark. Yeah, 9.84 today, it's not a fast time. It only ranks him number 22 all time. It's the 104th fastest time in the event ever, but that doesn't matter since he grabbed the Olympic gold medal and a bunch of other medals to complement that. Tyson Gay, he won the world gold and the world silver, actually both times ahead of Asafa Powell, right, in Osaka as well as Berlin. And though he never broke the world record, he does have the second fastest time in history at 9.69. But similar to Asafa, he never won an Olympic medal, a medal of any color. And that same thing goes for Asafa Powell in his lack of Olympic medals. Only won, the bronze medals in 2007 and 2009. To me, there's just something about being able to perform your best on the biggest stage when all the other fastest guys in history are lined up with the lights on and when it matters the most. A single moment to make your statement and cement yourself in history. Like I said, world records, they're meant to be broken. Golds, they last forever. Thanks for watching, y'all.